What's up, YouTube? Jeff, your Style O.G. And on today's video, we're gonna talk about 11 things successful men never say. If you're new to the channel, we release a new video every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern, discussing various men's lifestyle topics such as style, grooming, and dating. I invite you to subscribe, tap the notification bell, and join us. And to my returning friends like Jamar Ferguson, salute. Now trust me, words have so much incredible power. It's not that your words can change reality, but they can change your perception of reality. And we all know perception highly affects how we navigate through life. And that's what I want to talk to you about on today's video. On today's video, I'm going to give you some words that you shouldn't be saying if you want to be successful. These types of thoughts and words hold you back from reaching your potential and staying on your purpose. So without any further delay, let's hop right into 11 things successful guys never say. First up on a list of things successful guys never say, you definitely will never hear a successful man saying, "It's not fair." You know what a fair is? It's where you place a blue ribbon on a pig or you buy cotton candy. Life just isn't fair. And when you hear someone talking about how unfair life or a situation is, what they're actually saying is, odds are stacked against me. I'll never succeed. It gives you an excuse to not push forward. If things aren't even, why even try? But that doesn't mean you won't come across circumstances that aren't stacked against you. But successful men observe, process, and find a way around boundaries. It's true, life isn't fair. It's not supposed to be. Push around and jump over those obstacles. Next up on the list of things you'll never overhear a successful guy saying, you won't hear him saying, "I should have," or "I could have." Here's the thing, we all have regrets, things we wish we could have done better. But wallowing in the past, getting mired and stuck in the mud, prevents you from moving forward in your present and your future. What a successful guy does, especially when he fails, he stops, he analyzes and processes the mistakes, then he thinks about how he can prevent himself from making similar mistakes in the future. But he doesn't get bogged down on the past. Looking too much in the rearview mirror doesn't allow you to go forward. That doesn't mean successful men don't make mistakes or they don't have regrets. They just don't obsess over them. Process your mistake, move forward, get on to the present and the future. Which segues nicely into my next tip, and one I have to admit I've always struggled with. You rarely hear successful guys saying, "I'll do it later." In other words, they're not procrastinators. Now, as I mentioned, this is one I've struggled with a lot. I've often had the philosophy, why do today what I can put off to tomorrow? And trust me, I've suffered the consequences of doing so. If you need something done, do it now. What happens is tomorrow never arrives. And if you put it off today, it'll be just as easy to put it off the next day. Successful guys grab the bull by the horn and get down to business right away. Next up on the list is one I think is extremely important. You're rarely gonna hear successful guys saying, "It's not my fault." Successful people rarely shift blame. They believe in holding themselves accountable. They believe in figuring out how they could have done better, what they could have added to the equation. Shifting and pushing all blame on other people allows you to escape accountability. It doesn't allow you to improve. And 9 times out of 10, you'll realize it doesn't matter whose fault it was. It matters that the goal did not get accomplished. Like I said, it really doesn't matter whose fault it is. Successful people never push blame off on other people. You won't hear them saying, "It's not my fault." Another thing you definitely won't hear them saying, "It's too late." Now here's what I mean by that. You won't hear successful people saying, "All those slots are taken up. That's a saturated field." If they have a passion and belief in something, they're gonna go for it, no matter how late or how saturated the field might seem. I'll give myself as an example, this time in a positive way. When I thought about starting this YouTube channel, there were other people in this niche that were very successful. And on top of that, I was in my 40s. I could have easily said, "Hey, I'm too old, it's too late. Everybody has this field covered." If I would have done that, I wouldn't be here talking to you today and have over 300,000 subscribers in about 3 years. There were other people before me. They were younger than me. But what I didn't say to myself, "It's too late." Next up on the list is actually a phrase that to me is a pet peeve of mine. I can't stand hearing people say it. That's, I'll try. What do you mean, I'll try? You know what that sounds like to me? Someone who's already telling you, I probably won't get it done, but I'll give it a go. You know what successful people say? I'm going to get this done. You don't hear them saying, I'll try. I'll try comes off very weak, very defeatist to me. And a successful person, even if they're not sure how they're gonna get it done, they know they'll figure it out. Please, when you're around me, and if you wanna be successful, don't say, I'll try. Which leads very nicely into my next point. Another thing you won't hear successful men saying, I don't know how. Now, this doesn't mean successful men know everything. Quite the contrary. But the reason why you don't hear successful men saying, I don't know how, is if they don't know something, they'll look for the information. They will dig and dig, look and look, until they find a solution to a problem. I don't know is not in their vocabulary. In fact, successful men look at a lack of knowledge as an opportunity, an ability to learn more, to increase their breadth of knowledge. And even if they admit inside they don't know how to do something, they're not gonna let you know that. They're gonna do the research, they're gonna figure it out. They won't be satisfied with saying, I don't know how. Next up, I have a tip that I believe is very important for my fellas out there that work in a corporate or office environment. Never let somebody hear you say, that's not my job, it isn't in my job description. You know what you sound like when you say that? You sound like somebody who wants to do the bare minimum, who won't go out of their way to get the job done or pitch in extra effort. You sound like someone who's satisfied with being average. You're not a team player. How does that look when it's time for promotion time? If you only want to do the bare minimum, clock in exactly at 9 and clock out exactly at 5 p.m., don't be surprised when you're in that same position with no raise for years and years. If you don't ever go out of your way to do extra things, how will people know you have the ability to move up the corporate ladder? Take opportunities that aren't in your job description as a chance to learn. Never let your boss or manager hear you say, that's not my job. Next up on the list is another one I definitely don't like to hear. You should never tell someone else that will never work. Successful people don't say that. Here's what I mean. When you tell someone else that won't work, you're a dream crusher. Even if it doesn't make sense to you, the most successful people are dreamers. They're risk takers. They're gonna do things that other people can't see or conceive. And if you're someone who tells somebody else that'll never work, you're probably not a dreamer or risk taker yourself. You're probably satisfied being average, and that's okay. But successful people aren't average. They take risks. They are dreamers. They find out how to make things work that other people can't see. So if they're risk takers and dreamers, they're definitely not going to shoot down somebody else's dream by telling them that'll never work. Now, next up on the list probably could have been number 1 through 11. But it bears saying, and I'm sure you've heard this before, successful men never say, I can't. Can't just isn't in their vocabulary. Successful people believe in the unachievable. They think they can get everything done. And even if your goal does seem far-fetched, telling yourself you can't do something is just a self-fulfilling prophecy. You will rarely, if ever, hear a successful guy talking about what he can't do. If he has his eyes on the prize, he's gonna figure out how he can. If you wanna be a successful guy, remember, words have power. Never tell yourself, I can't. And last, but certainly not least, on my list of 11 things successful men never say, you'll never hear them saying, I'm satisfied. Satisfaction makes you complacent. It doesn't allow you to progress, to see a bigger picture, to reach for more dreams. When you're satisfied, you're gonna make minimal effort. And just because you become successful doesn't mean you shouldn't chase more success. Let's use Warren Buffett as an example. Although he was already one of the richest men in the world, about 10 years ago, he just started to get into real estate. He was already an older guy, but he saw an opportunity. He wasn't satisfied. He wanted more. And that's a common trait among successful people. So if you're a successful person or a man who's looking to be successful, one of the things you'll never say out loud or to yourself, I'm satisfied. Okay, so there you have it. 11 things you never hear successful men say. Now remember, keep these phrases and words out of your vocabulary and you'll become even more successful. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, hit that like button. helps the channel to grow. And of course, tap that notification bell so you don't miss any of the videos we release every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern. And I'll check you out the next time.